here with Miss Mary Stein. She has been in our church for a very long time, and we're going to talk about that, but we are just so excited to have her talking about her testimony. She's a pillar of the sanctuary, and it's an honor to have her as part of our congregation. So Mary, tell me a little bit about your testimony.
I was saved at the age of 17, graduated from high school. I went to Grace Bible Institute in Omaha, Nebraska, and then I went to licensed vocational nursing in La Mirada, California, and then I got married in 1967, and we lived there until 1972, and we came to Fort Morgan, and we started in the church in Fort Morgan. It was the First Assembly of God on Main Street, 7th and Main, and one of the real interesting and fun things that we did when I was at that 7th and Main church was that the congregation went from that church to our new church on Beaver Street, 300 Beaver Street.
Yes.
And it was a really fun time.
Yeah, that fun transition and getting into a new place. Yes.
Right. One of the other things that was really fun and good was when I was baptized.
Yeah.
I wasn't baptized right after I got saved, and we had an opportunity, and so I was saved, so that was a good memory that I had.
And where did you get baptized? Was that here in Fort Morgan?
Yes, it was.
And which church building was that? On Beaver?
On Beaver
Wow,
Street.
okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And then you also got to see the transition of moving out to this building, right? Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay. We sold our church downtown, so we had to find another place. So we, for several months, we rented I think it was from January till we moved into our new church in December. We were at the meeting at the Hotel Clarion, and that was a really exciting time. It was just around Christmas time.
Right. So this has been, is this 10 years, right?
Yes, it would be. Yes, right. Yeah.
10 years and Christmas Eve was the first service.
Right.
Isn't that cool? Tell me some of your favorite memories at the downtown church.
At the first church, my second son was dedicated. In 1977, the little kids, we made a movie of the Christmas story.
Wow.
And it was really cool.
That's awesome.
And we had the wise men were on our property. We had a farm. Part of it was in it's a scene where the wise men met. Jesus was in the church, and we went to a man that had sheep to make part of the scene. So anyway, that was a really exciting.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
This is just nothing spiritual or anything.
That's okay. That's okay.
But one of my best friends, they had 3 children, and they brought sometimes 4 to 6 others to church. And one Sunday night, they got home and found out that they had left one of the boys, and he was sleeping.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah, he was asleep at the church.
Right.
Oh no. Yeah.
And Walter Barrett's mother used to yodel.
Oh, she did?
And so she was one day, I don't remember what was going on, but she was on the front steps yodeling. And my friend afterwards said, "Oh, I don't think she should have been doing that." And I said, "Well, nothing wrong with that."
Yeah. Let her yodel.
Yeah.
Oh, how fun. That
And
is
then
so funny.
there was a few times where, well, we all had fun with the kids in children's church. And,
Yes.
yeah. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay, now moving over to
Yeah.
this campus, what have been some of your favorite memories here in the last 10 years?
Yeah. Well, of course, the first Sunday that we were here,
Yes.
and then ladies from church moms were here. We met every Thursday morning,
Yeah.
and that was a memory I'll always have.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
And-
been your community, huh?
Yeah. Right.
Mhm.
One of the times that we kind of broke the property up in different areas,
Mhm.
and then we went out and we were dedicating the property to God.
Wow.
Or we felt like we needed to give it to Him
Yes.
so that we could just start with clean slate.
Yes. I love that.
And
Yeah.
so we went, I think it was either 6 or 9 places that was staked that we went to and pounded stakes in and prayed at that time.
Yeah.
And that was really,
That is really cool. And I think it was effective because people drive onto our property and they just say that they feel God's presence here, or they feel that this is a safe place, or there's just an excitement when they come here. And so those prayers worked, and those kinds of things matter.
I
you know?
get the goosebumps.
I do too. It's the best place to be, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I think that that's just an example of, you have been here for so long, and that's one of those things that you've done to set the foundation for all the awesome things that we get to see now. It's because of your faithfulness.
Yeah, the Lord has really given me a lot of good opportunities
to see stuff like that. Yeah.
In my personal life, when we moved to Fort Morgan, we were here for just a few months, and then 9 months later, I gave birth to my second son. The first son, we adopted him when he was a month old, and he moved onto the farm at the same time that we did.
Okay.
And, of course.
Yeah.
And when we were taking care of foster children, we had put in an application for adoption. And before that, we had went for the Assemblies of God, taking care of foster children and also for adopting, but they notified us that it would be about 3 years probably. We were on a waiting list, so they one day notified us that they had a baby that they wanted us to go and see. And I thought it was really strange because I had already made up my mind.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that we would adopt, and so the next day we went and saw him, and the welfare worker asked us if we'll leave you alone so you can visit, and but in my mind I thought, well, I don't have anything to decide. I've already decided.
Yes.
And so anyway, we took him home and named him James Daniel.
Yeah.
I said to my husband, don't you think that maybe is that, if you want to call it, anyway, we ended up calling him Daniel, and so it's kind of when you go by your second name sometimes.
Yes, right, right.
But anyway, we just, I remember we took him to church the first chance we had, and because that was just our habit to go to church all the time. And so I remember there was this lady that had 6 children, and she told me that she had never seen such a beautiful child. And I thought, and anyway, it was just, everybody just fell in love with him.
They were happy for you.
Yeah, right. So we moved to Fort Morgan, and he was 6 months old, and then the next, in 1973, his brother came, and so my husband was really proud of his 2 boys, and I remember he bought a new cap to wear.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
And so as time went, he and his brother just grew up together on the farm, and learned how to work, and so he became a millwright. He went to Chadron College for about 3 years, I think it was, but anyway, I suppose his dad encouraged him to go to, maybe he would like to consider millwright work. So he did that. He was an apprentice, and then has been working as a millwright since. And as all parents are really happy because their children are serving God, and it just, and he's so devoted, and watches after his mom.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So it's just a real blessing to be a mom to 2 boys.
Yeah, sounds like you're a very proud mom. And I love that, and that we know Dan and get to see him all the time, and that he's always here. So awesome. Okay. Well, that's a really good story about his adoption, and another example of just God coming through for you, huh?
God had promised me that I would have a child, and so he, after a few years, that became a reality. So I of course, I've always prayed that he would be used by God, and he's a beautiful father.
Yes.
A very good father.
Yes.
And husband. God has been faithful.
Yes, he has.
Yes.
What are some examples of God's faithfulness in your life?
Yes. When I was first going to college, my parents my dad had multiple sclerosis, and we didn't have very much money, but I did have enough to start. But when I was at the Bible Institute, I was called into the president's office, and I thought, what in the world did I do wrong?
Yeah.
And he asked me if I ever prayed. And I said, yes, I pray. And he said, what have you been praying for? And I said, well, one of the things I've been praying for is that I would help me finish my paying of my tuition. And so he told me that somebody had wanted to be anonymous, but they were paying for my tuition.
Oh my goodness, that is awesome.
And then when I was in nurses training, one of my classmates gave me some money for helping me on that tuition.
Yeah.
And then the director of nurses got me a job working in the library. And it was a real easy job because I had been trying to, I was working at the restaurant. Then she said, I've got an easier job for you. So she told me I could help in the library.
Yeah, perfect. Yes.
And it was a pretty easy job.
Yes, a much needed promotion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Through the years, he's helped us through good times and hard times. One of the hard times that we had was that we had to move from the farm, and our pastor at that time, 3 years later, there was a tornado that it was on the property where our farm was, and the pastor says, now you know why God had you move.
Wow, that's amazing.
And so God has been faithful all these years.
Yeah.
And it's been fun to watch him do things in the church. Before your parents came, we had 30 people in church. And then now we have one time within the last 3 or 4 weeks, I heard that we had 150.
Isn't that amazing? Yes.
Yes, it is. God just knew that it was time for a change.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah, and then, you know, we always talk about before we came, you all were praying for kids.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that and what you've seen happen.
Right. Yes. There were several months, I don't know how long, but we had no children in our congregation. And we prayed that God would send us children. And I think that I remember that the former pastor's wife, she made little dolls and put them on the altar, and we prayed for children. And it was just amazing to see what God has done.
I know, now you can't go anywhere around this place without seeing a couple, right?
Yeah,
a couple of kids.
That's right.
It's full,
yes, right.
And I know, like, our nursery, we've had at times like 14 babies in there. They'll have at least like 10 kids in kids church, and now we've had up to 25 youth coming on Sunday night.
That is, I mean, it gives me the goosebumps.
I know, it's above and beyond probably what you had prayed for, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that I am hearing a theme just kind of through what we're talking about of, you know, seeing your prayers come to pass. You know, you guys have prayed for the property, and now you have that awesome feeling when you come and you prayed for a baby, and you have this son who has the best role of a father and a husband and serving God, and we get to see Dan every Sunday, and he's also serving God, and, you know, and then with the kids, and just, sometimes I think that God just shows off, and you think that maybe things are over or done, and he just blows it out of the water just like that. Yeah, so I love hearing that, and I love how you just are an example, like I said, of God being faithful. So what are some of your dreams or goals now for the future, just either in your walk with God or to see in the church? What is on your heart?
Okay. I have been teaching or trying to teach the church moms, and Heidi stepped in, and I think that God is leading me to, I visit a lady in the nursing home, and I think and I love to entertain, and so I think those will be two of the things that I will have the privilege to, God and I can serve together.
Kind of explore that a little bit. Yeah, good. Do you have any more you want to share? Anything is fine. Just share your heart, whatever.
Okay. I just want to say how thankful and how God was so faithful when He brought Dan back to the Lord.
Yes.
And it was a very hard time in my life when we were separated.
Yeah.
And I was looking through some of my daily writings that I do, and there was not hardly a day went by that I wasn't praying.
Wow.
But God has, and it's so exciting.
Yes. Well, we love to see Him, and I think it's awesome when you're praying for something that seems so impossible, and then God just does it just like that. Yeah. Good.
I just want to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
And I feel fortunate that I'm still able to be up and about. And God's good and gracious, and it's going to be fun to see, because I think that Heidi takes a Bible study every other week, and I'll still be a part, but I feel like I should give it to her.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of pass the torch there. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, Heidi's awesome as well. Yeah, I think, tell me a little bit about maybe some of your favorite things or favorite memories or things that you've experienced with church moms.
Okay. After my husband passed away, I tried to find things to do to keep, and the girls were, the church was having a Valentine's party for the couples, and so I asked the pastor if I could have a party for the singles.
Yeah.
And so we started that way. That's how we started. And then when they had a Bible study that was started, there was a gentleman from the Saddleback Church that had a Bible study, and so our church had these several Bible studies going on with that. So I asked the lady in charge if we could have a Bible study and also, and she said, well, I thought you already had one.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that's kind of how I got into it. And we've had sometimes we went out to a restaurant, and it was fun to see the girls that were waiting on people to have fun too.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they just joined in.
And that's always fun.
Then there were times when it was really sad when because a lot of our ladies were older, but we saw that they went to their heavenly home, and so we were able to help the families at that time.
Yeah, so you're blessing them not just when they're part of your group, but even beyond.
Right.
Okay, so the last thing I want you to share with me is maybe your favorite scripture.
Okay.
Or can you narrow it down to one? I have a hard time with that. But yeah.
Fear not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen thee. I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee in my righteous right hand.
Yeah. Good. That was good. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mary, for talking with me. I love hearing your history and all those awesome stories. And God has been so good to you. And you are an example of what we all have to look forward to if we walk with God. So thank you so much.
Okay. It's my privilege.
Yes.
Thank you.